Bringing you in, Nighty podcast. I'm Jay. This lady over here is Joe.
Hello.
We got some stuff to get into.
Oh, could you see my gross hand on that? Oh, can't really see it.
Can't,
I had this rash on my hand for
movie magic.
6 months.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, and it won't go away.
You put like some pussy cream on it.
I did.
Yeah.
I figured it was like a yeast infection. I think that's what ringworm is. I have like such a bad connotation of ringworm. Like, that's a good word of the day. Can we start off tippity top with the word of the day?
Let's get into it.
Connotation.
Let's
get the actual meaning before I biff it up.
I like it when you biff it up better.
But yeah, ringworm.
It's
an association. That's probably what the internet will say. Let me make sure.
An association. God, remember our last association feast, the place we lived in?
That's not the same thing.
Is it spelled the same?
It's a homeowners association, which is, well, I guess it's two meanings for the same word. You know, English language.
Tell 'em.
I can't even say English today. An idea or a feeling that a word invokes in addition to its literal or primary feeling, meaning.
Booyah.
So a connotation is the thing you associate with a thing. So ringworm, always associated with like dirty people. Lice is the same thing, which supposedly lice only happens from
clean hair.
Yeah. They only want clean hair. But I still feel that's what they told the dirty kids.
I know, right?
No, honey, it's just your hair's so clean. It's not that your mother neglects you.
That might not actually be true, but it's like something you've heard.
You have to look that one up.
Yeah. Everything we talk about is like we're not exactly sure.
Yeah, this isn't a information podcast.
No.
Jay went to high school. I went to community college.
Yeah.
Neither one of us are exactly scholars.
No. Yeah, I barely walked.
But we do have a little bit of information about a lot of stuff, I feel like.
Yeah.
Experts on nothing.
Jack of all trades.
We'll come up with a lot of stuff for you to look up.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a lot of things for you to research. So the connotation came from ringworm. Ringworm came from my hand thing because I thought maybe it was a yeast infection because I've been using so much antibacterial soap.
Making so much bread.
No.
I was just going to talk underneath you, but that was loud.
You actually, like, when we are recording, I hardly hear what you say.
That sounds right.
And then when I listen back, I'm like, that was funny. I stepped all over that. So sorry about that. But antibacterial soap, just like a antibiotic, can strip your skin of all of the good stuff that's supposed to be there. And then that gives a room for bad things like yeast that you don't need, that you have, but you don't need a lot of to start overgrowing. Which is what happens with vaginal yeast infections. So my logic was like, I'll put the vaginal yeast infection cream on my hand and see if it goes away. It made it a little bit better, but I think I'm just mutating it. I think I'm just making it stronger.
Did you monostat?
Yeah, it was a monostat. It was like an off-brand monostat. I'm going to pay $13. I don't have an actual vaginal yeast infection.
You'll get the real up. Yeah,
you'll get the real thing. Yeah. But same thing.
Like who gets monostat 7 when there's monostat 3?
Yeah, I don't know
Are those days?
I think it's days.
I thought it was like the strength. Like I just have a little yeast.
Well,
I just need the 3.
I think the idea is the 3 is giving you like more. So it only takes 3 days. They're going to give you more of the medicine though. I think the 3 is more expensive.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the...
This could be way off. I've only used it for its actual purpose one time, and it didn't work. I wound up having something else. So go to the gynecologist. The end of the story is go to the gynecologist if you have pussy problems. Pussy problems right at the top. I realize I'm not that we ever have a shot of being monetized, but I'm ruining our chances by saying words like pussy problems. But also...
Yeah, I think I started it.
I mean, we made this show...
Yeah.
It'd be nice to make money on it, but really there's not enough people saying real things. It is all just like fodder. Like how often I get on Instagram, within 5 minutes, I'm just like, oh, I hate everything on here.
I liked you were telling me you went on TikTok, and it's like you haven't really liked anything.
Well, I made the TikTok for the podcast.
For the podcast, yeah. Right. And then...
That's fine.
I just got signed. No, so like you go on there and you went on there like 2 a.m. because you were like coming home from work or whatever. And all you got was like ass and titties, like advertised to you.
I didn't know TikTok was porn. I mean, it's not porn.
I mean, everything's
naked,
made for it, right?
But it was like because they didn't know, the algorithm didn't know who I was. It was like, it's 2 a.m. It's Friday night. Ass and titties.
Yeah.
I mean, just over and over and over again. Where I was like, well, maybe if I just swipe through these, it'll figure out I don't like this. Nope. Just gave me more.
Thirsty.
Just more of it. Yeah, that app is how our I can't say generation. Is how our culture dies. Instagram was bad enough. Like just pictures. Like, so Facebook, let's go back. MySpace started with words. It was mostly words. Mm-hmm. It was mostly you making posts. Then they added the feature, I feel like, of pictures, because at the time of MySpace, everybody didn't have cameras on their phones. Well, so you would have had to actually have a digital camera, plug it into your computer, and upload pictures. So pictures were not as instantaneous as they are now.
It was more about music, wasn't it?
Well, it was just like making your own web page, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so you could add music to your web page. You could make it pretty colors. It was really where we should have stopped. That was all you really needed. Some representation of who you were online before you died. Wouldn't that be nice? And just like let it live forever. But no, then we transitioned to Facebook, which became way more about opinions. Mm-hmm. Whereas MySpace was like you communicating with people you knew.
It was much more about who you knew. Who you knew.
Yeah. And then like friends. And then like a bio. It was essentially just a profile of yourself. Mm-hmm. This is who I am. And then people you knew could come on they would have to go to your page to leave a comment for you, and not everyone else you knew and the guy at the grocery store could see it. Right. It was just for you to see.
Yeah, Facebook is all about like somebody commented on somebody you don't know's post.
Yeah, don't you want to see this?
You'll get an alert for it. Oh.
Like, so then I went to Busybody Facebook, right? And Facebook was all just oversharing. Like everybody gets an opinion, everybody wants your opinion. Don't you want to share your opinion? You open the app and it's like, Joe, how are you feeling today? Like, don't fucking ask me that.
Why are you tempting me?
I'm gonna tell you, first of all, because I'm special and my opinion should be heard. And then everybody thought that. Yeah. There's just opinions over opinions. And and now it's just like an addiction to negative things. Like some sociopath works at, maybe a few work in Facebook's like mainframe, man. And they're just like, and then we'll show them a picture of something they don't agree with, but then we'll show them a comment of somebody that we already baited that they sort of know who's against that thing. Or with that thing, and then that person will see that, and then they'll hate each other, and then they'll argue for 6 hours, and then we can advertise for 6 hours. Like that's all it is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's very much what it is.
It's horrible. Yeah. It's breaking down relationships for advertising. It's not even for sales. Yeah, it's for advertising.
I felt like that kind of pushed me to Instagram, that thing you just kind of, and then Instagram.
We're going to keep going. Let's keep going down the path. Okay. Then we went to Instagram and it was like, aren't you sick of everyone's opinions? Let's just do pictures. Let's just do funny pictures.
It was only pictures.
You said you hated the
sunsets.
Pictures.
Here's your food.
You hated the pictures of people's food. They're all over the place here and you love them again. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's what it was. But then they added that, Reels thing, right? Which actually might have happened after TikTok already started. It might have been an answer to TikTok. Mm-hmm. Then they added the Reels thing, which is just more people you don't know creating content, and it's just trash. Well,
what was that one that was just like quick videos?
Vine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was.
They opened up the door.
Vine opened up the door.
Dumbness. They
were 6-second videos. I never even downloaded it.
I didn't either.
a couple of people got famous from it. That's all you have to have is people to make money on a thing for a thing to blow up because everybody else wants to make money on that thing.
Welcome to the Nighty podcast.
Hey.
Full circle.
But yeah, so that was what it was Vine started this like ADHD culture, and then Instagram picked it up. I think Facebook, now they're all kind of linked, they're all the same thing. And then the monster of TikTok was born, and I've spent all of maybe 25 minutes on this app in total, and it is trash. And it's not because I'm old, it's not because I don't get it, it's because it's bad for you. It is the fucking McDonald's of social media. It is the worst of the worst. Nothing in there is good for you. You are not learning anything. You are not discovering new things.
Do you remember
it's trash.
Do you remember like when it first came out, and then there was like somebody from the government was like talking to the rest of the government about like
getting rid of it
because I think it was just like mostly it was owned by the Chinese government.
That's why they wanted to get rid of it. They didn't care that it was bad for you. They've been pumping out things. The government's been pumping out things that are bad for us since the dawn of time. But no, because it is a Chinese-owned app, and you are giving it ultimate permission, like you give Facebook, like you've given Instagram, like you've already given permission to our government, but now you're giving permission to a new government to listen to you.
I only want America spying on me.
That's right. It's so dumb. But like, let's put all of that aside. That's all terrible. That none of that's good. But just what it is bad. You open it up, it immediately starts playing crap. Immediately. Full value. Full value.
Fast food.
You know, like when you open Instagram, everything's muted till you agree, until you kind of click it and say, I would like to listen to this.
Right.
Nothing is muted. It starts up, immediately
turns your phone's volume up.
I mean, it's like they had a meeting of like, I'm not going to do a bad Chinese accent because I can't do it and I think it's racist. That sucks because I really like doing accents, but you can't anymore. But it's like they had a meeting where like, what do stupid Americans like? Well, let's like make it loud because they're dumb and it'll keep their attention. That's what it is. Yeah. And it's just
bright and loud.
And you just scroll. Like we're all going to have massive thumbs soon just from.
There was some study on like how many miles has the social media thumb traveled,
How could you ever calculate that?
I don't know. It was funny. I think it was on The Onion or something. It was like a joke.
That's true.
Survey or something. Research.
I remember hearing growing up, this feels like a kid thing growing up, but I never forgot it. That if you squeeze your hand together like this, and then this muscle is big or hard, that means you masturbate a lot.
I did, yeah. I remember
did you ever hear that?
Yeah.
I've had a huge one my whole life.
Do tell. Do you remember
that? But now it's got to be huge from scrolling. Like that's that muscle right there.
Yep. Get it? You're good at it.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
You remember like if your hand is bigger than your face, you have cancer?
Yeah, that's just stupid.
It works.
But it is stuff that never goes away. Like I think one of our kids did it
60% of the time. It works.
A couple of years ago. He came home so excited. Like, Mom, did you know? And I'm like, if your hand's bigger than your face, yeah.
Before you even got started.
Oh, Mom. Yeah, that's right.
Someone starts to tell you that, and you already know, and you just smack their hand into their face. Like this. Put your hand up.
Does everybody know that? Do we have to talk about it? So you put your hand in front of your face, and the whole joke is like you're trying to see if your hand's bigger, and then the person who said it to you smacks it and then makes you smack yourself.
Just like that.
It's so dumb. But do it to a 6-year-old because they will love it.
And then we're like, can't wait to do it to the next person. That's how shit just like carries through generations. Like, get excited about something so childish.
I find it weird, those people that remember their childhood so well. And I used to think it was like, well, is it because like mine's traumatic and I'm blocking it out? But I don't like remember much from last year. So I think my brain's just kind of like a recycling. It's not a recycling system. I wish it was a recycling system. It's more of like car wash.
All right.
You can only put so many cars in there before something's got to come out the other side.
Yeah.
You can't just keep cramming cars inside. They're going to hit each other. So mine, like, if every new thing I put in, something's got to leave.
Something gets washed and gone.
Yeah. So, like, I don't remember I have a couple, like, last week we told a story about my childhood that I vividly remember, mostly because it was embarrassing. So that's great.
Those
I like to hang on to. Yeah, I like to hang on to the good stuff.
Yeah, those are the dirty ones.
But I don't remember a whole lot. Like, those people that can recall, oh, I was in this grade when this happened. I talked to this kid. And then my dad said this. And they're, like, in their 40s. Mm-hmm. Is that you? Can you do that?
No.
I can't either.
But I remember, like, dumb stuff. You know, like, the stuff I remember is just, like, I told you, like, last week when I was a kid in the back seat driving with one of my aunts or something. And the song, like, The Heat Is On. It was like, The Heat Is On. And whatever. It's an old 80s song.
Sing it some more.
Don't get me started. And then, like, it's in the summertime. So clearly you wouldn't put the heat on. But I asked her to put the heat on while that song was playing. She didn't understand, like, why I'd want the heat on. And then I laughed so hard. And I never forgot that.
Genius.
Stupid. But I won't forget that.
Do you remember what aunt? Like, can you remember the details, or is it just mostly about your role?
What do you mean?
How much of the details of that story? You said an aunt.
Oh,
I'm not asking you to name her, but do you remember who it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think that might decide how sociopathic you are, also.
Oh, just like if you didn't.
You just remember your part of it.
Right. No, I remember. Okay. What aunt it was. Okay. I don't even think she was really an aunt. It was like my mom's friend.
Oh, those are the best aunts.
Yeah.
Those are the rotating.
The drinking buddy aunt.
The rotating aunts. Mm-hmm. This is your aunt, Susan. And like, for this year. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It could be Aunt Michelle next year.
Until the scam y'all are running is over.
Yeah, I stopped doing that aunt thing. I did it for like a second with one of my girlfriends because she's like the closest friend I've ever had. And then I was like, For one thing, I feel like that's putting too much weight on aunt. Also, are they going to know this person when they're grown up? I hope so. But if not, like, I had an aunt that wasn't my aunt growing up. It was my mom's one friend. Mm-hmm. I don't know her anymore.
Right.
And that just makes...
Well, it's not like it was your godmother.
I know, but it makes that loss greater to me in a very vague way. I don't really care. But it's like, well, I don't talk to my aunt, blah, 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 anymore.
Well, that's one, like, when
she was never my fucking aunt. My mom did that.
Here's a good, like, don't introduce your kid to your date for the night. You know what I mean?
Do we need to say that to people?
Yes, we do. Ugh. Like, my cousin went out with this guy, like, last week. And she was, like, messaging my sister. And was like, oh, I'm meeting his parents and his son. And it was, like, their first date.
Ooh. When does he stuff you in the closet?
Scary.
Like, that, yeah. That person is either...
No, like, protect your kid, dude.
Yeah, pretty out of touch. It depends on how old the kid is.
He was, like, in single digits.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Don't do that.
No, that kid's wanting a new mommy situation. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was not a child from a broken home. I was a child from a home that should have been broken. You were a child from a broken home.
Yeah.
How many stepdad-like people? You never had a... Well, now you do. But growing up, you didn't have, like... Your mom never got remarried.
No.
So, like...
She never did.
How long would typically these people be around? Was it like you were meeting a new guy all the time?
No, I definitely... I'm not, like... I know... Like, I was only introduced to, like, actual boyfriends. You know? Not just, like, fuck buddies or, like...
Right, but what constitutes a boyfriend? Like, once they moved in?
Yeah, they were on their way in. Like, anyone that I remember... I mean, maybe I blocked some out. Like you said, I car washed them. But it feels like the ones that I remember, we actually ended up living with. And it ended horribly.
Let's talk about video game addiction.
I just saw something I'm watching Ted Lasso. I just kind of started that without you. Marathoning. It's actually like a positive show, which is weird that it's popular.
No, it's not. People like that.
Yeah. It is kind of a feel good.
Yeah, people love feel good.
Yeah.
It's weirder when weird things, negative things, depressing things get popular.
I guess that's just more what I watch. But
because you're married to me.
I'm into it. He said something about video games. It was just like, I think I thought that living my life without them was being more fulfilling, but all I had to do was like adjust my like time with them, and I could still enjoy them.
Yeah.
And it was like,
so he thought he had to cut them out all the way.
Yeah, to be like living his full life.
I feel like that's everything, and it's probably because I just don't have the addiction gene.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. It doesn't exist for me. There's almost nothing. People. I can get addicted to people. I got addicted to you for sure.
Hey.
And it just like, no. All my thoughts would just revolve around that person.
Writing my name in different letters.
That's right.
To see how many lined up with your name.
Yeah. Yeah. Like OCD. Is OCD, it can attach to a human being. But I've never had an actual addiction problem. There's a lot of it in my bloodline, but I don't have it. I like stuff, but there's nothing I couldn't give up. There's almost nothing I couldn't give up. Like, if you're not talking about family, there's nothing I couldn't give up. I could walk away from everything that I enjoy. I could never do it again. And so I have such a hard time understanding when that addiction thing. I think because I see it as a sign of weakness. To me, addiction is weakness. If there's anything else controlling what you're doing, then you're not strong. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know what strong is. I don't even think I really believe that.
Right.
Well, I do believe it. I absolutely believe it. I just don't want to believe it.
Being strong?
Yeah. Being strong doesn't really... What does that even mean?
Being able to slug through tough shit.
It's just surviving?
Yeah.
It's just mostly surviving. People see it as surviving and thriving, but I think it's just surviving as being strong. Like, I know this lady whose like kid died, and
wrong kid died.
Well, it's not funny when a kid dies, and the kid already had like a really complicated life. She died in like her 20s. It wasn't like a little kid that died. That's sad too, but it's sad in a different way. This is like a well-established relationship that now is going to be cut short, and I still have to live another 30 years without you, which is super sad. But like someone had made a meme like how people ask me how I get through, and I don't know. I just do. I just survive, or like something like that. Yeah. And they were talking about something dumb. And then this woman was like, I feel the same way about my dead daughter. And then whoever it was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm thankful I've never had to go through that. Like, yeah, dummy. Like, you don't, before you talk about your survival, think about what somebody else has been through before you put that out to the ether about how you're such a survivor. I don't know.
It reminds me of just Tropic Thunder, where it's like, Robert Downey Jr. going, just survive. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like she's been through the shit, and then this other person's just like dressed up in makeup, like pretending.
Yeah. I mean, all you need is perspective in those scenarios, in those situations. Mm-hmm. So before you go to post the kind of, and it's just been something that's been proliferated.
Damn. That's a $10 word.
That it's okay to do this, but before you make your thing about whatever it is that is really a big deal to you, you don't have to share it with everybody else. You don't, because all you're going to do is isolate someone else's problems, you know? Yeah. It's even true about happy things. Like, don't overshare your happy things, because you inevitably are going to bum the fuck out of somebody else. So just share it with the people you actually know. Right. People around you. It doesn't have to be, everything doesn't have to be online. Says the girl making a
on
show
YouTube. Yeah, we talked about like all the other platforms. We love YouTube. There's nothing wrong with it.
There is nothing wrong with YouTube. I do love YouTube. especially now more than ever. There's nothing I can't do now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video for everything.
Yeah. YouTube is strong.
I mean, have I rewired some electrical that maybe I'm not authorized to do? Maybe.
Right above us?
Maybe I have. Do you know anything about the Georgia Guidestones? Have you ever heard of that?
The Georgia Guide? No. What is the Georgia Guidestones?
I've never heard about them either. And we live in Alabama. Like, we're like a few hours away from
They're
this.
here?
Are they in Alabama?
Yeah.
They're called the Georgia Guidestones.
Oh, it's actually like... Okay.
They're in Georgia.
Georgia. They're not the Alabama Guidestones.
Look, when he was younger, he had a full head of hair.
Mm.
He was very good at basketball. There was a lot to be attracted to. Okay, so I'm basically just going to Wikipedia this. So there's this. It's essentially the American. What is that thing in England? The Stonehenge.
Okay.
In 1980. This guy who called himself, he had a really stupid name. Let me find it. Robert C. Christian. Okay, that's what he's calling himself.
Strong.
He goes into this like marble plant, like a stone company that does not marble, granite. Sorry, and then commissions this structure out of granite. They're like essentially like 5 really big tablets. There's some pieces that sort of connect them. And he's like, he wants all these inscriptions on them. He pays this farmer for like 5 acres of his land in kind of like the middle of nowhere, Georgia. It's in, let me find the county, Elbert County, Georgia. So it's 19 feet tall. 6 different granite slabs. In total, the whole thing weighed 237,000 pounds. Okay. So the granite guy said he seemed like a kook and he didn't want to do it. So he like way overestimates what it's going to cost. And then the guy's like, fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's like, fine, we'll pay it. They said it was like $100,000, which in I couldn't believe this. This is how fucked up the world is now. The cost of the project was not revealed, but it was over 100,000, equivalent to 373,000 in 2021. Why, from 79 to 21, did $100,000 now be worth what did I say? 380? Almost it. Does that make sense? Was that how it was growing up? I tried to do like how much did this thing? You used to get it was always candy because you're a kid. No, this candy used to cost you 2 pennies or a nickel or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like those conversion rates make any sense.
Right. Don't ask my mom about the dollar store now
Jesus.
being $1.25.
Please don't.
You gonna change the name?
Because she's gonna go ask every person that works there like it's their fault that now the dollar store costs $1.25. But there's like a lot of that stuff that I'm just like, that is escalated. On a lot of it, I base from like when I became an adult, which is when we first got married. A nice hotel cost $100.
Yeah.
Like a really nice hotel was about $100. Now a really nice hotel is like $200.
Right.
It's been 20 years. Why has it doubled in price?
Yeah. $100 you can get like a jacuzzi in there.
Like a nice car. Like a really nice car.
Yeah.
Like a full size truck or sedan.
35,000.
30 to 35,000. Now they're like $60,000.
Yeah.
And it's only been 20 years. Like that doesn't compute to me.
Right. I agree. Like I was like, I'll never pay over 35,000 for a car.
I feel like money was, it always goes. There's always an increase in value, But just the last 20 years, it's been on a spike. It doesn't make sense because it wasn't like that from 80 to 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So why from 2000 to 2020 why is everything doubled?
I don't know. They're printing more money than in the last 20 years.
They're not giving any more money. Okay, so anyway, Georgia Guidestones. So this guy goes in.
Forgot about the Georgia Guidestones.
So he gives the farmer like lifetime cattle grazing rights, but technically he owns the 5 acres it's going to sit on.
Sweet.
He's called it himself It wasn't just him, but it was him and a small group of loyal Americans, right? And basically what he wanted was, they felt like nuclear war was going to happen. This was 79. What is that? Was that Cold War?
Cold War,
Going into Cold War?
Give it.
So they felt like if the Earth was destroyed, if the planet was destroyed, and most of the population was taken out, he wanted this structure to be left behind as a way of like helping the next group of humans, or whoever.
The mutants.
Yeah, the superhumans that show up. It would also, the way they're set up would also function as a compass, a calendar, and a clock. I mean, it was kind of genius, right?
Okay.
And so let me tell you what the messages were. This is a purported statement, so I don't know where they got this statement from. It's just on Wikipedia. But in order to avoid debate, we, the sponsors of the Georgia Guidestones, have a simple message for human beings. Now and for the future, we believe our precepts are sound and they must stand on their own merits. I am the originator of the Georgia Guidestones and the sole author of its inscriptions. I have had the assistance of a number of other American citizens in bringing the monument into being. We have no mysterious purpose or ulterior motives. We seek common sense pathways to a peaceful world without bias for particular creeds or philosophies. So what they did was they wrote the same thing in like a shit ton of languages on each of the slabs.
In Georgia.
In Georgia. It was like a sort of a 10 Commandments vibe. Let me tell you what they say. A message consisting of a set of 10 guidelines or principles was engraved in different languages. English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. Covering all the bases. Languages were chosen because they represented most of humanity. Hebrew was chosen because of its connections to Judaism and Christianity. According to the monument sponsors, the inscriptions are meant to guide humanity to conserve nature after a nuclear war. Let me read you what they say.
Okay.
All right.
You got me hooked.
This is so close, and I've never even heard of this thing.
Yeah.
Number one, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. So they're saying that essentially we're going to get wiped out to less than that. What is it, like 8 billion in the world? They're saying don't have more than 500 million people because that's too many of us.
Yeah.
Check.
All right.
I'm on board.
They got one right.
Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. So don't just have like this. Don't have whites mating with whites and blacks with blacks and keeping everybody separate. Yeah. Make it diverse and do the best people with the best people.
Let's get tan.
Hard pill to swallow. Yeah, but everybody needs to be mixed.
Cutest babies.
That's how we become the best. That's why they are the cutest babies, because that's the way we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to be all. Look at we're part of the problem.
We're pale as fuck.
Next husband's definitely going to be something.
Swahili.
This big dumb white guy. Number 3, unite humanity with a living new language. So kind of make your own new language, which is sort of interesting.
That's dumb.
I don't. I'm sure there's logic.
Create your own language.
I'm sure there's logic. I think it's like saying we're so separated. That's why they had to make all these stupid stones. Just pick one.
Yeah.
Everybody talk the one, so that it's not so easy to separate us.
Right.
Like this podcast is not going to be in Spanish, but it should be.
Yes.
You know?
I would choose to pick Spanish. It seems like it's fast.
Oh,
and it sounds good.
Like a pretty language.
Yeah. I'll go Spanish.
Okay, this is a good one.
Pick me one.
So yeah, so I think I'm still on board with that one. Check.
Okay, I'll get down on that one.
4, rule, passion.
I'm joining the cult
This
right
is
now.
a good one. Rule, passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. How well is that worded? They're not saying get rid of them. They're not saying don't have any of those things. But be reasonable. Don't make a law controlling other people's bodies. I think that's what they're trying to say about that.
Dial it back.
Dial it way back. Just because it doesn't agree with what you want, fine. You go do your thing. Leave people to make their own decisions. Number 5, protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Impossible. Number 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. That's kind of interesting. So each country would run themselves, but instead of having a Ukraine-Russia war, Ukraine-Russia go to the world court, and then the world court decides Russia's right or Ukraine's right, and then the other one just has to respect that decision, which you probably could do with only 500 million people.
Yeah. I mean, how important are lawyers at this point? At the world court? The Hall of Justice.
Like, how would you decide the world court? But I'm not against it. My buddy that was telling me about it was like, oh, it seems like, there's a lot of, what did he say? Was it communism? Something like that. I'm never scared of communism. Is that bad? I guess I didn't grow up in that time, but I'm like, yeah, if you just take away the dictatorship that always happens, keeping everybody equal is what we should be striving for. I don't know the problem with that.
It's kind of like how this country was found.
It just gets corrupt. It gets corrupted every time.
Like,
so why not enact a system?
You grow the pumpkins and I'll grow the squash, and then we'll come together and trade.
There's always those lazy freeloaders. Okay, number 8. 7 is avoid petty laws and useless officials.
That's what they said.
That's all I want. That's all I want in my life.
It was never supposed to be like a full-time job.
No.
It didn't start off that way.
No.
In America, at least.
People making $500K a year to make decisions for the entire country is mental. You shouldn't be paid for that job. It should be like a honest heart job, like a soul job you do on the side.
It wasn't supposed to be a full-time gig. You come to sessions.
And avoid petty laws. Like, now that I know I can, like, I used to be a real rule follower. And then, like, something has shifted, and now I'm like, if a rule doesn't make sense, I'm breaking it.
I've seen you do it.
Yeah.
Lately.
I'm over it. I'm not just going to do things because everybody told me to do it. I'm going to get demonetized for saying invisible words, for saying words that are bad. That's a bad word, Joe. That's a bad topic. Don't talk about it. Why? Why can't I? Why?
I seen you put the wrong birth date on a form.
Who fucking cares?
And you're like, so what?
Nobody cares.
Who's keeping track of this?
Put your real birthday. I'm still on board. Number 8, balance personal rights with social duties. That was the one he said communism about. That's what it was. But yeah.
Break that one down for me.
All right. Balance personal rights, what you're allowed, what is your right, but you better be paying for it by also contributing to the society.
Okay, that is communism.
Maybe I've been saying communism and I meant socialism. I don't know the difference.
We're all card-carrying socialists. You have a social security card.
It's like contribute to the pot, and then you deserve the things, these rights. But you don't get them just for existing. You don't get them just for being born in a certain geographical location. You better be helping everybody, help the system, and then the system supports you.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's how I interpret it. Maybe I'm wrong. Go to the comment section. Tell me how I'm wrong. It's my favorite thing.
If you don't pay in, don't reach your hand in the cookie jar.
That's right. Prize truth, beauty, love, and seeking harmony with the infinite. Which that sounds real kumbaya, but all it's saying is like, we are a speck, We're just a drop in the pan. Flash in the pan?
Yes.
Bad at sayings.
She is. Still tries them.
Every time. But yeah, just like appreciate what's around you and your insignificance, and it can be a beautiful thing. Stop thinking you're such a big deal.
Are you sure you didn't fucking make up this? It
was before I was born. Granite? Otherwise,
you got some granite.
That part, put that in my Wikipedia. That Joe made the Georgia Guidestones. Number 10. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. They literally say it twice. Which that's what we fucking are.
Yeah.
Is a cancer on the earth.
Right.
We're everywhere. If fucking lions were as everywhere as we are, we'd be freaking out. Why are there so many fucking lions? They're constructing all these dens everywhere. We got no room for anything. And they're dangerous. Imagine how the rest of nature feels about it.
Yeah.
Like, remember The Happening?
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg and Zoe Deschanel. What a weird combo.
Yeah.
But a great movie. A great concept of a movie of nature turning on humans because there's too many of us.
Was that an Amelon Shemadang?
I think it was.
He's a good director.
So that's the 10. So I don't know. I'm on board with all of these.
Yeah.
I don't know who these
Sounded
people
like
were.
You made that list.
I can't believe that it was put in Georgia. This feels like a real, like, I don't know if it was just like somebody under the thumb of like their conservative area and was just like, I don't want this being perpetuated into history. Like we have, and so the guy said that he was like, it was a group of people that they'd been planning this for 20 years by the time they did it. So that was like the 60s when he started, which sort of checks out because that's when people were the most free thinking. And hopefully, you know, everything's cyclical. Hopefully we'll get back to that again. But here's the best part, Jay. So they were erected in March 22nd, 1980. That's March 22nd is our baby's birthday. That's kind of interesting. Let me get to the next part of Wikipedia. The defacing.
Defacing?
Of course.
Oh, someone fucked them up?
So at first the cattle did. Because remember, the guy had given them cattle rights. And the cattle started like rubbing on the stones and kind of doing what cattle do. So they put a fence around it. And it sort of became an attraction for the town. They'd get like 20,000 people visiting this nothing town in Georgia. Sorry if you live in that town. I love nothing towns. They're my favorite towns. So they put up a fence and people would come visit it. The guy transferred his ownership of the land to the county. So now it's technically like a county-owned property. And they could kind of, I guess, he must have had some good connections there. Because that's kind of brave. Because you get the wrong person in power in that county and that thing's going to be taken down.
Turned into countertops.
I'm trying to figure out who this Fenley guy is.
Is there another mystery in here?
Well, they're saying Fenley, and he must be like one of the officials of the town.
Oh, okay.
Here he is. He's the guy that owned the granite place. Sorry. Okay. So he believed the monument would become a regional tourist attraction. They made a documentary trying to find that they said they found who the guy that made it was. I don't know how much that matters. Did you hear kids shushing themselves trying to keep it down?
Self-regulated.
We're good parents. In 2008, the stones were defaced with paint, with slogans such as "Death to the New World Order." So this could just be dumb teenagers, you know.
100%.
It was the first serious act of so they stood till 2008. So 28 years, everybody just left them alone.
People had respect,
which is wild.
Considering
what they say.
Until social media.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. Fucking TikTok.
They were fine until TikTok was invented.
In 2014, the stones were vandalized with more phrases. "I am Isis, goddess of love." Like now we've got stoners showing up. People on mushrooms probably.
Yeah.
And here's where it takes a real cool turn. Candace Taylor, a candidate in the 22 this year Georgia Republican gubernatorial primary, called the Guidestones satanic.
For real? What's satanic?
In her campaign ad. Because they don't talk about the Lord Jesus Christ. They forgot to mention him in there.
They said just dial it back, lady.
On July 6, 2022, a bomb exploded at the site, destroying the Swahili Hindi language slab and causing significant damage to the capstone.
Nice.
Thanks, you bitch. Candace Taylor. Somebody tag Candace Taylor in this episode.
Yeah.
You're a real bitch.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Don't be so fucking small-minded. This thing stood for 40 fucking years till your stupid ass incited the plebs, not our plebs, they're good plebs, your dumbass plebs. And then they went and bombed the fucking thing.
That's some fucking sour shit.
And then it became dangerous, and now it's gone.
They had to take it down because
they dismantled it the same fucking day. Because it tipped it over on itself, and it was like that's huge.
Shards and
270, shit. What did I say?
And you used to be able to go inside of it and like...
You could go and walk up to it and read it, and people would take pictures.
Like
and
stacked and stuff. And now we can't go?
We can't go.
It happened this year?
It happened fucking 2 weeks ago.
God damn.
I hate everyone.
Thanks, Obama.
I hate everyone, man. I was so excited.
You were like reading.
It's just like, ooh, get amped up.
Damn,
and then
Joe.
Simultaneously, I was excited to tell you because I knew.
Yeah. That like hurts my stomach.
I was trying to watch your face fall. Yeah. There's just a video of some asshole driving away. It's the middle of the night. Like, because they put it, once they started defacing it, they put up a camera.
Yeah.
And, but it didn't do any good. I mean, you can't tell who it was. And they fucking bombed it. This nice, secularist.
I like that it like had a calendar and like
they were really planning.
Compass and time and all that like was really built into this with like
such care. All that time put in.
I hope everyone that was like the American, whatever they are, American for America. What was the group that the guy had? You said it was like other Americans.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I shut the thing.
I hope they're all dead.
I hope they're dead, too. Because what a sad day. Because once you got past, like, year 5, you'd be like, I'm right. Like, this thing's really gonna... Everybody's leaving it alone. You know? They probably were alive when they defaced it. I'm like, oh, well, okay. That's just paint. That's not gonna... The nuclear, explosion's gonna peel that off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then some asshole. I'm sure it's just some asshole. Drank too many Bud Lights. Wanted to be all about America and the Lord. And just blew it up.
That's a bummer, Joe.
It's such a bummer.
I don't know what.
Dun, 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 dun. That's the end of the episode.
Yeah. I can't bounce back.
I'm just going to leave you on that.
A
Georgia Guidestones.
Swift kick in the nuts.
Or no more. Oh, man. Isn't the world great?
I can't wait for the rest of my day now. I'm gonna go punch a baby.
Sorry, pal.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Bye.